Here's a subject that I know is going to trigger a lot of you. Go ahead and read through the comments now because there's going to be some wild shit said about this. There always is when you get into the debates of ranking great players. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm really not. It's a subjective thing, and I understand that. Y'all should too, right? So don't get too worked up in your feelings about this, Laker fans, okay? But I'm here to maybe point out something that I think that maybe we don't acknowledge enough when it comes to ranking all-time greats and athletes and players. And it actually carries into any genre that you want, music, entertainment, whatever it may be. So year 2 here in Los Angeles with LeBron and the Lakers. They're doing their thing, man. They're right where they should be. Y'all know what I said about Rest and AD. Now, sure enough, you see what's happening. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. I want to talk about LeBron versus Kobe. Now, Kobe, a lifelong Laker, right? He's never, in the eyes of Laker fans, I don't think LeBron can ever reach that status of Kobe, even Shaq, and then, of course, Magic and some of the all-time greats, just because it's going to be the back end of his career, the last final few years. You never know, man. If he runs off 2 or 3 in a row, you never know, right? But, you know, Kobe, I remember, for some of you youngsters, you may not remember, I remember when Kobe was the most hated player in all of sports. When the things were going on in Colorado, he ran Shaq out of town. You know, I'm not even going to go there with some of the stuff, but, you know, it's slowly progressed to now that he's retired and you see this next generation embracing Kobe Bryant, where he is like getting all the love. The legend just continues to grow, the Mamba mentality, right? And so why is it that everybody loves and seems to like Kobe and give him more respect than LeBron? There's a few factors, right? I think first, right out of the gate, aesthetically, playing the game, watching him play, he's just a much more graceful basketball player, right? And so I know super OGs are going to tell me, hey, he just copied Jordan. That's fine. But I'd also make the argument that later on in his career, as he learned from Hakeem, he became even more graceful than Jordan. He never had Jordan's power and explosiveness, but, you know, as far as footwork goes and the finesse aspect of the game, it was as smooth as it got. Hence why you hear the term Kobe, right? You let a shot go, Kobe, right? Or you're throwing something in the trash bin, Kobe, right? And you're never going to hear LeBron, unless maybe you miss bad. All right, I'm going to leave him alone. So that's number one, right? I think a lot of players, they're in the league now, and just fans, kids, you go out and you try to do it like Kobe because it looked pretty, right? As opposed to LeBron's irky-jerky game that is not, one, you can't really mimic what he does because he's such a physical force and specimen. And two, it's not aesthetically pretty. It's not a real stylized game except for when he gets above the rim and some of his passing. But the other aspect, again, is the Mamba mentality, right? The legend keeps growing about his work ethic and what he was willing to do to gain a competitive edge throughout his playing career, right? And so as that legend grows and these stories come out from his past, it just makes people love and embrace Kobe and the Mamba mentality even more. And Kobe kind of had a samurai mentality, right? He played hard all the time. You never question Kobe's drive and killer instinct, whether that was in November or May, right? Or June. And then you contrast that to LeBron. Now, I know that load management, the term, is really attached to Kawhi Leonard. That's when the term came out. But the reality of the situation is LeBron really ushered in this load management era, slowly but surely, really. And, you know, it's not as fun to watch. And you watch all the business decisions he's made, both on and off the court. We know he paces himself. He's been doing it for years, right? And so you may watch a game here in November, right, or January, and you're like, man, he ain't even going hard, right? And you don't like it in the moment, but it's give and take, because now you look now, and he's still at 34, going to be 35 years old, doing what he's doing, and potentially is going to end up playing with his son. So it's not always the most glorious thing, or you may not get the most respect, but at the same time, some of these business decisions and the way LeBron has paced himself may extend his career. And you remember the last few years for Kobe were rough, man. Like, it was admirable. We loved it, right? He dragged his feet up and shot them free throws when he blew the Achilles, and everything was a drag, and it was honorable. But, all these legendary stories of Kobe's work ethic, to a certain extent, his strength was his weakness. And you saw his body break down because he overdid it, right? But we give him that glory, and so we like Kobe more. But as far as LeBron goes, because I myself, I'm saying it now. I was sitting and I was thinking about it, like, yo, I got so much more love for Kobe. Like, I just respect the Mamba mentality. It's inspiring. I loved watching him play. And I'll say this, as a kid or a younger adult, man, I can't remember another player that struck that much fear into me when he had the ball late in the game, right? I'm not talking percentages in clutch. We can go to the analytics. It's just, you knew down the stretch of a game, right? Like, it was like, oh man, he put fear, and you saw it on the opponents. And again, that's another strike against LeBron, where it's like he's always going to make the basketball play. And people seem to have punished him for, quote unquote, not having that killer instinct. But ultimately, who's made it to that many finals? Who's dragged teams with real suspect rosters into the playoffs and deep every year, right? And so again, we have to get away from what we're glorifying and what we think is honorable and fun to watch, and actually what is the smarter way to go about things and what's more effective. And so I say all that to say, again, I love Kobe. I like him as a player more. I liked watching him. But LeBron James is the better basketball player. LeBron James is the better basketball player. You don't have to like him as much as Kobe. But I think if you try to look at things objectively, I think it's pretty clear he is. He just does more things well, the longevity, and then his fit with other players, right? And just to bring it out of the basketball world, let's keep it in LA. Let's keep it in LA. Just to give you another example, like Snoop Dogg is beloved, right? He's a pioneer, and he's about as cool of a cat as you're gonna see, right? As you're gonna meet if you can meet him. And then you got like Game burst onto the scene, right? G Unit and all that. And over the years, he's just done suspect thing after suspect thing, to where he's lost a lot of respect, I think, as far as like the fans and even just the hip hop community, right? So Snoop is this beloved dude, but if you're ranking them as rappers, if you're ranking the top West Coast rappers, everybody's going to put Snoop ahead of Game, right? But bar for bar, let's keep it a buck. Game's a much better rapper. You don't have to like him, but bar for bar, he's a better rapper, right? And you can carry it anywhere. You can go into football. Let's take it to football now, right? Pat Mahomes, MVP, youngest ever. The dude's spectacular, right? We've never seen anything like it. The no-look passes, the athleticism. He could be revolutionizing the quarterback position. He could be, right? And you like to watch him play more than Russell Wilson. But the reality of it is, right now, today, Russell Wilson's the better quarterback. So, I'm just here to open up that discussion as far as when we're going to do rankings and we're ranking players from whatever genre, whatever sport, right? Let's not confuse who you like more with who's actually the better player or performer. I'm out, y'all. I've been winning so long, it's like alchemy. February 23rd, 1996, D'Angelo Russell was born in Louisville, Kentucky. He was the baby boy. He had two older brothers, LaShawn and Antonio. And like most kids in Louisville, he grew up playing all sports. And like most younger brothers, he grew up battling his older brothers in all of them. But the difference was, it didn't take long for him to pass them up. By the time he was a freshman, his older brothers were known as D'Angelo's brother. D'Lo was known as a prankster, the class clown type, and it got him in plenty of trouble, mostly petty stuff. But at one point, it ended up even costing him a school playoff game.
You're using coconuts. What? You've got 2 empty halves of coconut and you're banging them together.
When the game is on the line, his attributes, his effort, his juice, it turns up. I went in search of the numbers to back this up, but in true Draymond fashion, the numbers didn't tell the story.